Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome. Okay, guys, you've been with me a long time. I know what I'm doing over here. And YouTube just sent my live stream to another day. So I'm actually sitting here reading all of your guys' chats where I can push them on the screen. I'm talking to all of you. I'm seeing your messages and I'm going, what are you guys talking about? I'm live. And then I saw our moderators say, hang on, something's goofy here. And then I started looking deeper and I was streaming 100 to 100 days ago. I mean, something happened. So welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for continuing to like, subscribe, comment, and do all of those things. We're just going to start her back up. I was streaming for 11 minutes and it was really interesting stream. So thank you for being patient. Let's recycle it. And here we go. Mark McLaren, welcome to you across the pond over there. Jeffrey Burnett, Forest Hill, California, opposite side of the world. Ben King, no update yesterday. I had a travel delay, had terrible weather. I did send the update out on YouTube as a post, Patreon, and Twitter. So make sure you're following those places or have a notification on, and that way we'll keep you updated. Beardy Day, welcome to you, brother. Thank you for being here. Larry and Debbie, as always. Andrea Shof, welcome to you. Paul Kiss, resident Canadian, Pennsylvanian, Ukrainian, welcome to you. Linda Cassio, Greenville, PA. Chuck Pinkham. I've got everything memorized now. San Jose, California. Hernan Conti, saludos desde Argentina. Welcome from Argentina, brother. Kimberly Porter, welcome to you. Yeah, so the title is tonight of the program is The Silent War, and I was giving you a real life example of the Silent War. Pat Schoaf, welcome to you. Skeghead down there in the great down under, welcome to you, my friend. Carl L. Well, as always, checking in from Vegas. Chill dude, Slava Ukraina. Stephen Phelps, time travel. Rainwater, Seattle. So 538A, do you think this new forever war like North and South Korea? No, this is more like War and Peace Tolstoy. It's going on. 2 updates in 2 days. Well, I had to miss last night. So you'll get an update tonight and tomorrow night. We'll be back on schedule, and unless it goes crazy. So that's where we're at. Thank you guys for all that you do. Appreciate your patience. I have no idea what just happened. I mean, I've been set up on the stream side technically for hours, and I have no idea how that did that. So thankful I've got a good team and we know how this stuff works. I was able to hunt it down really quick. So here we go. Let's start with the air raid alert map tonight. Some MiGs are in the air. That is why we're seeing the air raid symbol over Zaporizhzhia and Donetsk, and we will pay attention to those as we go through the update tonight. But most importantly, we are paying attention right now to Odessa. I'm watching it very closely. So I can tell you right now that the drones are flying this second toward the Izmailsky district, and this is very important, because this is the border town between right here, Izmail, right here. This is the border town between Romania and Ukraine. This is the port that is right on the Danube River. You can see all along here. This is the port system here. If I take you down into Izmail, you can see the port loads here for the deep water Danube. And this is what's been struck multiple times. And this is where they are trying to get to. A couple of hours ago, there was a drone attack and air defense took them all out. There was like a 30-minute lag or delay, and then they sent another batch. I'm confident that one of the reasons that they're going to continue to target Izmail is because 3 things. Romania said they would help Ukraine get the green out. Ukraine said they would get the green out via the Danube. That's Izmail. And thirdly, NATO / and Romania has been increasing their surveillance with air along the Romanian border. So a lot of activity happening down there in southern Ukraine, and we will keep our eyes on it. Now, we're going to jump up and talk about Odessa tonight. And that's where we're going to start. So, a couple of explosions in the distance reported from Romania. Probably air defense, but maybe not. For sure, during the stream, we will know because they're close. They're tracking right to Ismail right now. I'm actually on a group with Ismail, so we'll find out. But thank you for that. Now, I've called this stream tonight the Silent War because I am confident, unless you are hunting for information and you are here to support, we're on day 538, and you've made the decision to stand with us, to even help and share, comment, like, give, all of those things that we do. You're committed. Many of you have been here since day one or very early in the war, and for that we say thank you. But if you pay attention to the news, it's getting pretty quiet. And the reason I say that specifically tonight is over the last 24 to 36 hours, Ukraine has been hit very, very hard in major cities like Zaporizhzhia, Odessa, Lviv, Kramatorsk, and for the most part, zero news. The big news story right now is they thought it was fake that the Russians boarded a grain ship or a transport cargo ship from Palau. Russia released a video of their boarding it to prove it. I'm going to show that to you later. The other thing is, Chill Dude, you're 100% correct. And it's not just Trump, although that's a major part of it. There's also just the things that are happening in the globe right now and the chaos. So it can be Trump, it can be Hunter Biden, it can be things happening in the Middle East, it can be the war, the coup in Niger, or Niger, I think is how they say it with the French accent. I'm not sure. It's like that. The goings on with Rocket Boy in North Korea, the G20 that's coming up in India, all of this, the news is very light now on Ukraine, and you truly have to hunt for it. Yes, and rightfully so. Maui wildfires. More and more often, my Twitter feed is suppressed when it comes to Ukraine. I've actually had to look for stuff, and British mainstream media does very slight Ukraine updates and nothing. Yeah, that's where we're at here in the U.S. too. I'm sure, well, I know. I got one mark against my YouTube channel because of Ukraine, and I did nothing wrong. It was a few months ago. And I'm sure that I'm suppressed. No question. No question. And that's okay. Where there's a will, there's a way. But the news, it's just going to become more and more silent. Secondly, over the last 24 hours, we have been told that, if you've been looking, that air defense took out 100% of everything. Now, I'm sorry, I support Ukraine 1,000,000% and risk my life to do so. I'm not sure that's the complete truth, because Odessa got, or was, sorry for my Southern, I've been in Virginia, was decimated. Absolutely decimated. This is an overhead picture of a Fozzie, and this is the, this mall area is actually where Zhenya and I were when we were working on the Nissan Navara. We had been in Zaporizhzhia, got some repairs. We had rotated through Kherson, Mykolaiv, and then we had to drop down to Odessa. And I was meeting for the first time the senator, the deputy, Pavlo Ungurian. We had a dinner, and we were working on the truck in that parking lot, doing some different repairs that we could do. And now that building's no longer there. And according to Ukrainian media, everything was deflected. But at the same time, Ukraine reported that 203 homes, and I'm going to quote now, were decimated in Odessa, 10 schools, and there was a historical museum and a monument and this Fozzy shopping center. So, of course, unless you've been looking for it, you probably didn't hear it. The news also is none were killed. I'm just not sure. Here's some video of the destruction. Here's some more. This is directly from Odessa's. You can see the logo there. So I'm not going to say that it was not. I'm not going to say that it was not a deflection, but this, if it was, and we have no reason to disbelieve other than the damage, the deflections didn't touch the munitions or the warheads. That's just all that's to it. We're talking about big hit. Yes, Odessa, that's correct, CZ. A hospital was hit as well. And just no news out on it. None. Dnipro, last night, sports complex, training center, hit. 2 killed. This is one side of it you can see there. Lviv, hit with missiles. Deflected and some deflectionary direct hits. This is the sign in downtown Lviv. Kids can play on, or you can take pictures. Residential district was hit. Additionally, there was a ball bearing plant hit. Let me do this for you guys here. There was a ball bearing plant hit in this region here, the Volyn region. There was also hits in Rivne. It was really a Western attack in these two regions right here. And there's just no news on it. None. And this was a lot of activity. So we'll see what goes forward from that, but it's just quiet. Zaporizhzhia, the front line, and I can show that to you here. Let me pull this down here. Desktop. Right here. So the Zaporizhzhia front line stretches from E105 here, where you come out of the city of Zaporizhzhia, and this map just shows you how big Zaporizhzhia is on both sides of the Dnipro. You come down the E105, Genius, I've been all over that road, and you come to Kamensky. This is the border, or where Ukraine's line is and Russia's invasion line is. So from this point here all the way over basically to Novaya Vasilka, that's called the Zaporizhzhia front. And along this front line here, take a look here, 99 strikes over the last 36 hours. These are just a couple of pictures. Complete destruction, and these are villages. These are S-300s. This is guided bombs off of planes. They were hitting this front line hard. The reason being, if we come down below right here, Orikhiv, I'll bring you back here. Right below Orikhiv, the line hasn't moved, but Ukraine has made a good push here. But where the line was hit hard, and I just showed you the pictures from, was this line here, Nova Vasilka line, because Ukraine pushed a little bit in this Staromolorsky, and then Russia pushed back. But this whole line here is what was hit so hard. And Ukraine reported today that through these last 36 hours, they did strike and hit hard. It was 3 killed in all those strikes as reported, and Ukraine recovered 3.2 square kilometers. 3.2. So We cannot let the war go silent, guys. If I come to this map here, 45,057 square kilometers are occupied. Just call it 45,000. That's this section. 16,797, 17,000. So 17, 16, 33 plus 34, 34 and 45, 30, 40, 70, 79, 80,000 square kilometers are occupied. And 3.2 square kilometers is what we recovered over the last 36 hours. At that rate, I mean, math is math. So we cannot allow the war to go silent. Of course, with all of the news, everything that's happening, especially in the United States, with every other day, there is a indictment or something out of the White House coming, plus the other events, economics. We cannot allow the war to go silent. So thank you for not allowing the war to go silent, guys. We stand with you, PG. Love the Ukrainian people. God bless you for defending Ukraine during this critical time. I don't know anyone who knows the Ukraine and Russia more than you. Well, that is a big compliment from you, sir, having spent a lot of your life in that region. My knowledge is decent. Last night, there was multiple cities slammed with multiple cruise missiles that were devastating, yet they only mention in MSM here a couple of deaths in a Russian explosion, not even where it was. That's the problem. It's the power of the Kremlin, folks. It's the power of the Kremlin telling you. I'm telling you. Power of the Kremlin. So there's that. Kramatorsk hit yesterday and once again today. Russia was trying to strike storage depots. They hit one, and I'm talking about a military storage depot. They hit one. Other places they hit were not military targets, and S-300s were raining down on Kramatorsk. And you can see the devastation here. And nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's just quiet. Now, news that was big, and I really didn't see it anywhere else. Maybe I saw a headline on Al Jazeera. Maybe. Not sure. But this is the big news right here. Ukraine can become a member of NATO in case of territorial concessions, the Russian Federation. So, today, the Chief of Staff of the NATO Secretary General, Stian Jensen, this guy came out and said, if Ukraine will give up occupied territory, then we can bring Ukraine into NATO. That was him talking. Now, later, NATO comes out and says that was not an authorized statement. He is not authorized to speak at that level, even though he is the Chief of Staff of the NATO Secretary General. He does not have that right. He does not represent the view of NATO. Immediately upon coming out, Ukraine went berserk, saying, never, we're not giving up our land. And if you require us to give up our land, we're not coming to NATO anyway. We do not trade our land away. Now, if you analyze it, this is playing directly into the hands of the Kremlin. This is exactly what Putin wants. He wants these messages coming out. He wants to play the long game. He wants to just keep going, let things go in the status quo. He's very happy with the way things are unfolding right now. So that was a direct statement coming out from the Chief of Staff, from Secretary General of NATO, and denounced. And then Podolyak, Kuleba, and Zelensky, all these names you know, said, we don't know what you're talking about, but that will never happen. Could you imagine if I go back to this map right here, and this is your nation, you're just going to give up all of this? Who would even consider doing that? Nobody in their right mind. So that is off the table, not going to happen. Yes, Mark McLaren, comment made here over a year ago, NATO, no army to offer. We did talk about that. Good. Stoltenberg suspended him. All right. Constant explosions in Rini and Ismail are being reported all over, I'm sure. Tim Ryder, that is insane. It is. Do not negotiate with terrorists, CZ. Yeah, but folks, you can look it up. It happened. It was tremendously large news today in Europe and Ukraine and Russia. Now we see where that's at. Once again, I'm back to this war is becoming silent. G20, up until today, there were talks that Zelensky would be invited to the G20 meetings coming up in September in India. Today, India, the host nation of this G20 meeting, came out and said Zelensky will not be invited. This is going to be a pure G20 meeting. It has nothing to do with Ukraine. It has nothing to do with the war in Ukraine and what's going on there, other than we have a member nation right there, Vladimir Putin, in the very middle of those images, who's a member of the G20. That's it. No. Once again, more silence happening. Belarus today coming out and confirming that they are putting EW vehicles, electronic warfare vehicles, along their entire northern border. Well, Ukraine's northern border, Belarus's southern border. I can show you right here. So right below Brest, which is in this corner pocket where there are a lot of Polish troops, as well as Ukrainian troops. Folks, this little pocket right here, there's a pile of troops there. There's a pile of troops there. Belarusian, Polish, Ukrainian, a pile. And I mean that respectfully. But this southern border here of Belarus has now been equipped completely with EW monitoring vehicles. What are those? Those are listening vehicles. Those are radar vehicles. They're looking for drones specifically. I can also tell you that a small group of Russians crossed the border here last night near Cernivka. They were trying to come in for reconnaissance. They were eliminated on Ukrainian territory by Ukrainian border guard and military. Additionally, Ukraine is going to have to watch closely what they're doing on the Belarusian border, because now Belarus is also putting out the Murim-Ps. They have gotten those from Russia. You may say, well, what is a Murim-P? A Murim-P is a thermal monitoring device with a range of 10 kilometers. For us that use miles, about 4.5 miles, you think about it. A lot of this territory up here on this border is wooded, so they'll have to be high in the air. But these Murim-Ps are very, very, very good, and they now are distributed across the border. So there is what is going on in Belarus. We just have to pay attention to it. They just keep pushing little buttons here and there. Ukraine taking out air defense, or their air defense taking out the drones, taking out missile attacks. This unit right here is called the Gepard. It's actually German. They've given Ukraine some of these units, and I want to show you some video tonight of these guys in action, and you'll hear Ukrainian defenses taking out the attack of air last night. These are older units, 70s, early 80s. Yeah, they're retrofitted, but this is some of the stuff Ukraine is getting, and it's doing a good job, not only because it's older, but it's good equipment. But the Ukrainian military, they're so professional. Let me show you a little bit of the Odessa defense from last night. Here it is. And you will see regular air defense going off, which will be S-300s, be like a missile taking off. And then you're going to see what appears to be like a gun going doo 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 doo. That is this Gepard unit. So here you have it. This is some air defense. That's the S-300. You'll hear Ukrainian soldiers in a minute. He's saying, go, 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 go.
Yeah.
Boom. Yes. That's the Gepard. You can hear the turret moving. Good for you, man. Good for you. That's what he's saying there. So that's some video of the Gepard in action. And once again, older technology, but Ukrainian military is fantastic. Let's look at the chat. Chill dude, Belarus should just shut up and worry about harvesting potatoes. That's correct. Let's see here. CRB. Zelensky loved the never ending war because he and his boys are getting paid. Well, appreciate your comment, buddy, but I promise you, he's not getting paid. He's giving his life up. He sleeps 2 to 3 hours a night. He's cleaning his country up from corruption, and we support him here 100%. But thank you. I'm sure you've been all over Ukraine, speak languages fluently, and have a degree in political science with analysis of Ukrainian and Soviet history. So very entitled to that opinion there. I know you don't agree with McFaul, but he said that Belarus is doing nothing but trying to divert attention. And if they do enter Ukraine, Poland would enter right away. Wow. So Michael McFaul is who you're referring to there, chill dude. He was the former ambassador to Russia, lived in Moscow, I think, for 14 years, speaks Russian fluent. He is a Democrat, but in his views of Ukraine and more importantly, the Soviet Union, Russia, the Kremlin, and Putin, he is spot on. Joey Boy, can Europe support Ukraine if the U.S. changes government and bails on its support? Your thoughts? No. No, just look at the numbers. No way. Let's see here. I'm trying to pull it up, see if there's anything new. It's so yeah, we can look at this. This is through May 31st. Let me pull that down. Let me put this up. This is from the Kiel Institute in Germany. So great question. Here's your answer. Government support Ukraine type of assistance. United States, 70%, 35% from the EU. Government support Ukraine, total aid with refugee costs, 70% US, 10% Germany. No, never. Military aid, US, 42.8%. Germany, UK, and then it's down and so forth. So that's from through May 31. I'm sure the numbers are different now with the new aid that the U.S. has sent. So can it? No way. No way. And you have to remember, Latvia, the Bulldogs, these nations right here, Estonia, zoom in a little bit for you. Latvia, Lithuania, they will continue to receive Russian fuel, electricity off the grid through the early part of 2025 by contract. And if they don't, they're not going to make it. And remember, we were talking about, for example, down here. This is Niger right here. And remember, I was showing you guys, I don't have the graphic tonight. There's a pipeline coming right across Africa out of Nigeria, goes right through Niger, comes across the Med, up through Italy and into Europe. A pipeline. Why does the Kremlin want Niger destabilized? Why does Wagner mess around with these nations? Because they interrupt all of those supplies. It's all about power, electricity, fuel oil, gas, oil, money. It's just the way it is. So there's the Gepards. Yeah, that was very cool video there, Nathan. All the candidates minus Trump have said on record they'd support Ukraine. I'm not sure Robert Kennedy would. He's the one that told us, and we analyzed it deeply. And I don't know, maybe he said he would, but I know months ago he said Americans were killing Ukrainians. So I'm not sure where he would be. And the reality is, this is excellent, Mark McLaren. If U.S. stops, Germany and France instantly stop. I reckon Ukraine will still supply in some way, but not to the volume. Be down to the Baltics to help Ukraine. That's actually the most accurate. So at the moment with Trump, educate the people of the U.S. Let's see. What's not true, Tim? It's only Trump. Poland's the powerhouse in Eastern Europe. They are. They will have the #1 military in Eastern Europe once this is all over. I'm not sure. Here's what I can tell you guys. You know it as well as I know it. If you're an American and you're watching, or if you're from a foreign country and you're watching, I know you see in your news the chaos happening in our nation right now. So I don't think there's any way anyone can predict beyond tomorrow what's going to happen in the United States. We've got a really chaotic situation in our nation, not only about the election coming in November 24, but all that's going to happen before then. We're only August 15, 2023. We are a long way. Correct. That's exactly right. RFK Jr. is a Kremlin propagandist. That's what I thought you were saying, Tim. Just wanted to make sure. I remind you guys that it was, you come here for the truth. I remind you that it was Orban, who is pro-Kremlin, speaking at the CPAC in Dallas. The right CPAC in Texas, to standing ovations and keynote speaker. You know, you've got a network there, but I don't think we can predict that yet. We'll be here. We'll be here until the war's won. So we'll watch it together. But I believe we're going to see a lot of chaos unfold in our nation. And still, when chaos unfolds in our nation, it unfolds in other nations as well. So we'll see. Now, talking about chaos, this is the ship, the Palau, under the flag of Palau. And Russia boarded it, and the world was coming out and saying, no, Russia didn't board it. Russia didn't board it. That was all fake. That was just an inspector, da-da-da-da. Russia released video of them boarding it. I will show you the video. I'll translate it for you. And I can tell you right now, they boarded it 100%. This is not a fake video. This is legit. This really happened. And let me just show it to you. So this is the inspection. I'll translate. They try to speak some English, and there's Russian going on too. So here we go. This is released by Russian, but it's confirmed. Confirmed by Ukraine. I mean, under gunpoint.
Stop machine!
He says, "Stop moving.
Stop it, giant! Stop it, giant! Keep calm and listen to me!"
All right, so in that Russian accent there, he says, "Stop engine, stop engine," which of course we know to be stop engine. He said, "Get on your knees and listen to me."
Sit down, please sit down! Please sit down. Keep calm
Please sit
and
down.
listen to me. What is the capital?
He's asking, "Where is the captain?"
Speak English.
Speak English.
Yes. Good day, sir. I'm Russian Navy officer. My action will be recorded on the video. Please don't shoot my group on video.
He then says to them, "Do not shoot any video. Do not shoot any video."
My question is very why stop and jam and long time over? Chief engineer and oiler going to deck. On the deck? Yes. Why? No, engine room. Chief engineer and oiler. No.
So he's asking him, it's hard to understand it, even though he's speaking English. He says, "Why for such a long time when we were telling you to stop your engines, you didn't stop them?" And then the guy replies, "Well, our chief engineer didn't understand."
No. Why? You don't stop in engine. And after long time, yes, I say you stop engine. If radio,
I told you on the radio to stop the engine for a long time.
I say you stop engine. You don't stop engine. Why? Chief engineer, you don't understand. Thank you. You good day, sir. I thank you crew to stay and play essential. My boat lives on board.
So thank you. Have a good day. Keep the boat here while we disembark. So that's the Sukru Okan. There's the ship right there. You can see the name title. So that actually did happen, and that video is confirmed by Ukraine. Russia, they confirm it, but we don't believe anything they say. But for sure confirmed by Ukraine. Ricochet, really good comment there. No new announcements regarding the ship boarding the Pentagon briefing today. Doubt the U.S. will do anything. We are putting troops on ship in the Strait of Hormuz. So it happened, and nobody's going to do anything about it. So that's where we're at. Once again, silence. Even Ricochet, you're sitting there saying, just no announcements. That's my concern about the war, is it's going to get quiet. I've heard Trump ripping into Putin for the horrific genocide committing to Ukraine. I hope so. As I said, we're going to see. We're going to see. Every day we're going to see news changing here in the U.S. So that's the ship boarding. Now, this came out today. What was the ship carrying? It was not carrying weapons. I don't think it was carrying grain, but I'm not sure. So I'm sure somebody in the chat knows what it was carrying. If so, they'll pop it in there. So this information today I'm sharing with you is coming from IDF, from Israel. Israel came out today in regard to the war in Ukraine. Okay. And not just Ukraine, but also they're having issues with Hezbollah, Lebanon, the border there, border incursions, of course, Syria, Iran, Gaza. Israel has their own issues. However, they're heavily supplied by the United States, of course, and the war in Ukraine is heavily supplied by the United States. And this information came out from Israel today. They says, we are concerned about the United States because basically they have reduced their mainline defense contractor and suppliers from 50 to 5. Yes, there's more than 5 suppliers, but their main suppliers, defense contractors, has diminished from 50 to 5, while the 4 flags there, China, North Korea, Iran, and Russia, are increasing their defense contractors. And Israel specifically said today that China's staging of their war machine and their manufacturing and their defense contractors is like synergistic. This was their analysis, synergistic between the people and the nation. They're making it a part of the culture where, for example, in America, we're really divided, whether it be gun rights or political affiliations or all the things that are happening in our country. And Israel says we do not see that rallying in the United States, and we're really close to needing serious equipment, not just what's happening in Ukraine. So that's where we're at right there. Joey Boy, what chance, if any, in your opinion, you see Putin being removed from power by his own country and some for another based on current events, currency issues, etc.? Interesting. You said currency. We're going to talk about that. Zero. He would have to be eliminated physically. And his circle is so tight, the chances of that happening, well, you can never say zero. Extremely slim. Extremely slim. And remember this, there is a propaganda war machine going on in Russia. There are many good Russian people, really good people, wonderful, but so many are under this spell of the propaganda that they actually believe that the venom being spewed out of the Kremlin is correct. Not all, but a large majority. So it's not as, you would look at it and say, how can anybody believe all this stuff and support missiles dropping on a nation like that? Because they actually believe that there are Nazis there. They actually believe that, and they're sold the story 24/7, 365. They believe it. So no. Civilian ship, Russian landed helicopter directly on the ship. That's wow. So they're just allowed to do that, I guess. Big explosion last night in Israel. Yeah. At a military plant. We're just there, guys. We're really there. How did we get to day 538 in this war? That's what I want to know. How did we get to day 538? I don't know. Kursk. I see you guys in there chatting about that. That is correct. I'm going to show you the Kursk nuclear power plant. So, some information coming out today about Kursk. You know, we talk about Zaporizhzhia all the time. Let's go here. And we know that Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is here at Energodar. And this is the big boy here. I shared with you guys a few days ago, maybe on Friday when I was traveling, that the Chechens are in charge of it. That's a fact. They've put them there. I won't show specifically where the other nuclear power plants are, but they're in Rivne region, they're in Khmelnytsky region, and they're down here in the southern region. So the news coming out now that the Kursk nuclear power plant, which is going to be right here across the border. I'm zooming in, show you guys how close it is now. This is a very large nuclear power plant here. You can see the cooling ponds. And that says Kurskaya Atomnaya Stantsiya. So I'll translate that for you. That means Kursk Atomic Power Plant. Kursk Nuclear Power Plant. So this is the plant. What's interesting about this is there are evacuation orders that are already drawn up to 75,000 people. The city of Kursk is east of it. That is a city that is big. 500,000 people live in Kursk. So the nuclear power plant here, the information coming is false flag, blame it on Ukraine, crank the war up even more. So how far is it from Ukraine? Well, it's actually very, very close to Ukraine. I can do this in Google Earth line. We'll go kilometers. Move this joker out of the way, and roughly 60 kilometers, 37 miles. I know you look at these maps and you go, it's so far. It's really not. Everything here is so close, so close. So 40 miles from Ukraine. And of course, the closest city would be Sumy, and a huge buildup here. In fact, this is interesting. If we go here and take a peek here, actually, we've got to go to this one, Institute for the Study of War. So you can see up here toward Kursk, nuclear power plant right there by the lake. Russia, pretty good line up here on their border. So this makes some sense as a potential. Who knows? We'll be watching and we shall see. Last couple of things. Somebody in here was talking about the ruble weakening, and could that cause, problems in Russia? It's really not. Russian economy will be okay. If you think about it, when's the last time you guys saw big news or new reports on sanctions against Russia? Let's think about that for a moment. When's the last time? You see, 6 months ago, it was every other week. New sanctions against Russia. New sanctions against Russia. New sanctions against Russia. New sanctions. You see any of that news anymore? No. Why? Because there are very few added sanctions now. Quite the opposite. Some of the sanctions in the energy sector have been weakened a bit. What does it tell you? Yes. Is the economy tough in Russia? For sure. Is it going to doom the nation? Absolutely not. They're sitting on an extreme amount of wealth in natural resources. Remember, their economy every day is switching more and more to the east, whether it be China, India, Middle East, Asia. We always think through our own mentality. We think through if you're an American, through your American eyes, or if you're a Brit, through your British eyes, European eyes, Australian eyes, but you have to look through Russian eyes. They've got plenty of places to do business with. So the ruble now basically 100 rubles to $1. When the war started in April, it went actually to like 140, then came all the way back up. And you can see, yes, it's going down, but this is not anything that's going to change. So we'll see. Yeah. Only people affected are civilians. Kremlin still eats steak. That's correct. They do. Sanctions will not win the war. That's a fact. It's just reality. But we've said that from the get-go. That's not going to do anything. So finally, for tonight on the update, and we will be back tomorrow night in 24 hours, back on schedule on Wednesday. Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin sent each other love letters over the last day or so. Kim Jong-un sending love letters. Remember, Shoigu came to town for a 4-day state visit, did all of the meetings. North Korea fired their military boss, put a new one in, ramped up production, fires off a missile, threatens the whole peninsula over there. Kim Jong-un sends a letter to Vladimir Putin, and he says, "Thank you. We thank you. We celebrate you. We celebrate our relationship. Thank you for our history together, dating back all the way to World War II, and you delivered us from Japan, and da 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 da. We will stand together militarily, economically, all of the spheres as a great nation. And I quote, against the evil West we stand. Vladimir Putin did not ignore it. He wrote him back a letter. Thank you, Kim Jong-un. I look forward to celebrating you for many years to come. We are good friends and allies, and we will continue to partner together in all spheres, social, economic, military. I congratulate you. And yes, we stand for the truth. So there you have it. That's their love letters. We'll see what unfolds. Of course, you don't see that on the news either, but it's happening. You know, the stuff I share with you, you can go Google it and probably find it somewhere on the East Moroccan Times. It's hard to find it now, but we'll be here giving it to you. So thank you guys. Nathan, bless you, buddy. Appreciate that. My first watching your live stream, subscribed. Thanks for being a pro-Ukraine news source. Do permoga. Until victory. Much appreciated. And Nathan, appreciated your comments, man. The axis of evil has officially revealed itself this war. That's correct. Andrea Shove, that's good. Putler and his BFF Rocket Boy. Kim Jong-un, the middleman for the Chinese supplies to Russia in front of the world to see, but nobody talks about it. You're spot on, buddy. And guys, by the way, just, you know, you can look at North Korea. I know we had a American soldier just jumped across the border. And there's things going on for that, but it's a crazy place. But one day I'd like to go to North Korea. Don't take that wrong, folks. I'm talking in a new day when liberated and everything's happy. I just like to see it. There's some interesting things there. But one thing about North Korea, I can tell you, it may be ancient, it may be antiquated, but they're sitting on a lot of military power. And they have a huge army. So to ignore them is extremely ignorant, especially when you're seeing love letters like this between these world leaders. So we shall see. You guys be blessed. And follow the money, as you've stated since day zero. That's correct, sir. And there's some flags. You guys be blessed. We'll see you 9 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. Have a good night. Appreciate you.